Peace, brothers and sisters. This is Rock Rocking Rocker. I'm your host, Dylan Sexton, broadcasting from the Man Cave. Today we have a special guest host, my son Van. And I was just listening to Blues Traveler on one of my favorite websites. It's called the Live Music Archive. I'd like to tell you about the Live Music Archive. A long time ago, the Grateful Dead started allowing fans to tape their concerts at their concerts. Just bring a tape recorder, tape it, and then trade it. Well, this is a way for bands to do that. Lots of different bands have decided to allow their fans to tape record their concerts and then put them up on the Live Music Archive website for free. You can download it for free, all these concerts, and there's different bands. There's the Grateful Dead, String Cheese Incident, Moe, Smashing Pumpkins, Blues Traveler, Keller Williams, and Cracker, lots more. There's lots of concerts on here. One of the appeals that I find is you can download a concert that you've been to. You know, say you went and saw Blues Traveler in April of 2007. You could find it on here. Download it, listen to it, and go, hey, you hear that guy in the background going, woo, that was me. Okay, well, today I'd like to talk about KISS, and specifically I'd like to talk about some comments that Paul Stanley made that are kind of deemed controversial. But before I get to the comments he made, I'd like to give you a little background about KISS to put those comments in perspective. KISS was formed in 1973, and in 1974 they released their first album, which was KISS, appropriately titled. Over the next several years they released some iconic albums, such as Alive, Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over. And these were the salad days that I like to call of KISS. Everybody knew about KISS. And during these years, there was 4 iconic images of KISS. There was Paul Stanley, the Starman, Gene Simmons, the Demon, Ace Frehley, the Spaceman, and Peter Criss, the Cat. But the salad days didn't last, and Peter Criss decided to leave eventually, and he was replaced by Eric Carr. And Eric Carr took on the persona of the Fox. After Eric Carr joined, Ace Frehley shortly after decided to leave, and he was replaced by Vinnie Vincent, who had sort of an Egyptian sort of persona. And after that, this was in 1983, KISS just decided to get rid of the makeup and recorded their Lick It Up album. We were all, at the time, trying to figure out which member was which. I think Gene was the easiest to figure out who he was. So KISS spent the 80s without any makeup. Then, in 1996, they decided to get the original band back together. Peter Criss and Ace Frehley both rejoined. And they released the album Psycho Circus, which is the song Psycho Circus, by the way, is really, really awesome. If you're a KISS fan, or even a casual KISS fan, you need to check out that song. I haven't heard this entire album, but that song in particular, Psycho Circus, is really awesome. Well, the reunion didn't last that long. Eventually, Peter Criss left again, and he was replaced by Eric Singer. And as you can see, Eric Singer just wore the makeup worn by Peter Criss. And then Ace Frehley left again, and he wore the makeup that was worn by Ace Frehley. Ace Frehley left, and then Tommy Thayer joined, and he wore the makeup that Ace Frehley wore. Now, the current lineup of the band is the 4 iconic images of KISS: the Spaceman, the Starman, the Cat, and the Demon. Now, getting back to the comments made by Paul Stanley, Paul has, well, first of all, the very idea that Eric Singer and Tommy Thayer are wearing the makeup of Peter Criss and Ace Frehley kind of drives some fans crazy. They're sort of losing their minds over that. I can understand. They're like, well, it's not KISS if it's not Peter Criss and Paul Stanley. If it's not Peter Criss and Ace Frehley. And if KISS was going to continue and put new members in, they should have just continued to change the makeup. Well, Gene had a good point. He said, you know, it's just going to be, you know, what are we going to do next? The Dog Boys, Giraffe Man. It's just, let's just keep it the iconic 4 images. And I personally agree with that. KISS is the 4 iconic personas: Spaceman, the Starman, Demon, and Cat. Okay, so a while ago, Paul Stanley was talking to an Australian radio station, and he discussed the possibility that even after Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, retired, that KISS would go on. That KISS was actually bigger than the four members, and like the New York Yankees. You know, the New York Yankees don't have Babe Ruth anymore, but it's still the New York Yankees. Well, he compared KISS to that. And again, some fans lost their minds and said, oh, no. If you know, Paul or Gene leaves, definitely no KISS. I personally don't have any problem with it. I think it's cool. I think, you know, some things should last. You know, the New York Yankees last, KISS should last. They're bigger than the members, the individual members. And I'd like to see KISS just keep moving forward. Now, having said that, I'd like to point out also that right now, KISS has their own comic. I went to the store and got this on Thursday. Issue number 1, Dynamite Comics, KISS. There's actually about 20 different covers for this first episode. It's very cool. So that's it for this episode of Rock Rocking Rocker. If you like this episode, I'd appreciate it if you'd like us below or subscribe to our channel. I think eventually we're going to you know, up the technology quotient so it looks and sounds better. But for right now, this is what we have. Also, if you like us, send us cozies, beer cozies. I'm collecting these. Okay, well, that's about it for this episode. I'd like to thank my special co-host, my son Van. And that's it. And I'm going to go back to listening to the Live Music Archive and Blues Traveler.